But there was a big debate yesterday on Ash Regan's plan to criminalise sex buying. So the status quo just now is that the legal risk is with the prostitutes who sell sex rather than the men who buy sex. And she wanted to sort of turn the tables, basically criminalise the men and decriminalise prostitution that's sold by women. It was an interesting bill. I think that she wanted possibility of prison sentences and fines for the males who buy sex. It fell because the SNP whipped their members into opposing the Regan bill. I think in the cold light of day, Ruth, I mean, if you look at the reasons for the SNP's position, and this is what killed the bill, they say that there's not enough time to debate it properly, and they wouldn't have enough time to debate and discuss amendments to knock it into shape. And I just think, what does it say about the Scottish Parliament that, we can debate all sorts of nonsense, virtue signalling rubbish, but we don't actually have the time to debate something that's about violence against women?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if I could swear here, I could. So you've got a lot of time for debates about greyhound racing, but when it comes to issues about gender-based violence, there's apparently not enough time. It's absolutely shocking. And I think Scotland is in a very sorry state of affairs in that sense. I think radical discussions were needed about this very controversial bill, because it is very, very controversial.
I mean, they've got the time to clamp down on greyhound violence, but they don't have time to clamp down on violence against women, Smitty.
No, the bill itself by Ash Regan, her Unbuyable bill, we spent time, you did, you spoke to Ash at length about it. We spoke to people who previously worked in the industry, the sex industry, that's what you want to call it. It's clear it's an industry that's built on coercion, violence against women, poverty, exploitation of people who often have abuse and mental health problems. The fact that the SNP government have chosen to take the side of the horrific men who basically pay to rape women is, to me, shameful. And they should have backed this bill from the start, and they should have got behind it. If they wanted to amend it, they could have talked to Ash Regan to try and amend it. Instead of that, they've waited till the last minute and then ditched it. I can't think of any good reason why the SNP would not have backed that bill. It's ridiculous.
I think it's because it's Ash Regan.
Well, I was going to say, isn't that the case? So Ash Regan was a minister in the SNP government, Doug. She resigned over GRR, then quit for Alpa, left that party as well. There's no love lost between, Nicola Sturgeon, her supporters, and Ash Regan. It just reeks of, it's Ash's bill, therefore we're not supporting it.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the biggest problems for Holyrood, I know all politics is based on party lines and party divisions, but I think Holyrood is especially tribal when it comes to things like this. The SNP, if you look at the Tories' right to recovery bill, the drugs bill was something that surely could have been looked at more closely, but automatically, because it's the Tories, the SNP and the Greens voted against it, and I think this is another case of them seeing who it is that's put forward, who it is that's backing it, and they've decided against it. I have to say, I kind of read quite a bit about this today to kind of bring myself up to speed. There are people within the sex industry, as Smitty says, who are opposed to it as well. It's a complex issue. I don't think it's as simple as we should just back the bill and pass it, but it's definitely something that's worth looking at. It's something
that's worth Parliament giving an appropriate amount of time to debate.
It's certainly far more time than we give to other debates. I think as well, maybe the SNP are gambling. Paul, you said it earlier. I should get this tattooed in my head because I say it almost every time we're on here. But ultimately, it's the economy that's going to decide. People's pound in the pocket's going to decide elections. They probably see this as an issue that they just can't be bothered to deal with right now with an election coming up. I think that's probably part of it as well. And I think we'll just kick it, put it into the long grass almost.
But the election is key to this as well, because again, it's another issue where the Greens have been very opposed to Ash's bill. For some reason, there's a section of the left I mean, I'm reluctant to include the Greens as left wing because I don't think they are. I think they're just ultra liberal. But there's a section of the left that sees trans rights as being tied in with the right of men to basically rape women. I don't understand why that's considered a progressive or left wing view, but I think the SNP again have sided with the Greens on something against what's actually better for society. And they need to have a look at that. They need to think about where they are on the political spectrum because that's not left wing.
One of the best bits, just I'll let you come in, Ruth. One of the best bits was during the debate when the Green MSP Maggie Chapman was referring to clients and workers in relation to
like they're selling, like they're fishmongers.
Yeah, and so the SNP MSP Ruth Maguire, she said, this was a point of order. She said, if prostitution is work like any other, should we be offering it as work experience for young people? I mean, I think that pretty much says it all. The answer to that question is no.
Obviously not.
But I just, listen to Maggie Chapman referring to workers and clients. It's just,
I mean, Maggie Chapman thinks 8-year-olds can change gender. So
you were saying, Ruth,
anyway, no.
before I
So
interrupted you.
if the bill hasn't been supported by the SNP because of party politics, because it's Ash Regan's bill, or because there's an election coming up, at the core of this bill, it wanted to stop sex workers, right, who are majority women, from being exploited by demand from those buying sex, which is a majority men. So at its core, it's trying to tackle things like human trafficking. No, I don't know. I think there's certain sides to this bill, and you have to applaud both arguments from it. But basically, one very important point, if it was going to be passed, was that it was going to stop sex workers from losing their basic survival tactics. So that's such as screening clients' IDs and taking registration plates from cars. That was Scotland for Decrim that put us in touch with one of the sex workers, and they said, if passed, workers would be exposed to further violence. So at the core of this bill, it's issues to protect women from violence, and if it's been voted against, if the SNP have voted against it because of issues like it's Ash Regan's bill, or there's an election coming up, it's shocking. It's absolutely shocking.